happened that made me really sad. So, shout out to all the women out there that's ever been abused sexually or otherwise or anything like that. When I think about that, I always think about Eileen Wuornos, and how she went and she told her whole life story, hoping that she would get some type of clemency or whatever. These men continue to abuse her. And the reason that I sympathize with her is this, um, y'all know that I've been living in Valdosta for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it's supposed to be a little country town. I told you it ain't nothing nice. I think there's a lot of sex trafficking that goes here, a lot of drugs. Even when I was traditionally housed, walking back and forth, I'd have random old men, always old men, stopping, and you want to think, oh, what a sweet, nice old man, but that's not it. So recently, you guys know that back in, I don't know, like end of February, beginning of March, um, I requested some public assistance. I did get some, and those benefits were stolen by a church. And the way the system works is that you don't need anything but your driver's license and social for someone to change your PIN number for that type of benefit. Through that, I survived and made it through that. I had so much stolen, and I went through all of that, took it with a grain of salt because I'm just like, God is trying to prepare me, for different things. And those are things I need to know. If you guys watch Dawson Denise or Dawson Speaks YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of that type of activity where, churches are awful. And I've been to so many churches, had so many quite awful experiences. But what I've learned through all of that, because everything's a learning experience, is that it's not the church, the building that we're looking at. It's time to harvest. If you're a real person, you're looking for other real church people. But the scary thing is that sometimes, because I remember how naive and sweet I was up until, the first time I started getting a rude awakening is when I went through the legal. But recently, a lot of that innocence is going away. So, yesterday I went to go take care, or the day before yesterday, I don't know. It's been so many days now, but I think it was yesterday. I went to go take care of some business, went to stop by a food pantry, food security. And on the way back, um, there was a couple things that happened, and I'm going to tell you about vulnerable populations or populations that appear to be vulnerable. That includes, and I don't use the word, I'm in a sauna, it's making a weird noise. It doesn't use the word that's traditionally used to speak on untraditionally housed people. Um, so I was coming back from checking on the benefits. I reported the fraud back on March 26th. They don't even have it in the system. But as I'm coming out, the way that people look at you and treat you, and women are the worst. You know what I'm saying? Men are watching. And when I say men are watching because if they see that you're someone of no influence, if they see that you're someone that can be talked to any kind of way or that people look down upon, you are a target for sexual assault and abuse. So I didn't think nothing of it. Had my huge little hiking bag, huge little. Had my big hiking bag with my stuff in it, so that I could take things from the food pantry. And it was a great day. Like I said, I enjoy every day. But, as I was leaving, and I have to admit I did stink yesterday pretty badly. It was just sweat, regret. It just wasn't a pleasant experience, but I needed to get out and get what I was doing. I was like, hey, I fit the description, so it's okay. But as I was leaving, I left a rag that I used to wipe my face because it's so sweaty, and I'm walking like miles and miles and miles. And plus, I'm going to talk to y'all about sunburn on black people. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Sunburn on black people. But as I was leaving, first when I came to sit my bag down to go through it and pull the rag out, there was a white lady that was sitting there, and she was kind of, she looked up at first and she wanted to speak, then she saw me and she was like, oh, I'm not speaking to her. She put her head back down. And as she did that, right after she did that, a black male, an older black male, like it's always somewhere between 60 to 80, you know. And he says, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And I said, "Hey, I'm doing good." And I was like, that's great that he spoke. And I organized my paperwork. I walked off. As I walked off, she yelled, "Ma'am, ma'am, you left your rag." You know. So I went back to get it, and I said, "Ha ha ha," silly me, ha 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 ha. I was just like, "Oh, thank you for letting me know because it's so hot and it's sweating, whatever." And her look was so stern, she didn't make eye contact, so she was letting me know that she was just disgusted that I left it And and that man was watching. I didn't realize this. And then my next step was I went to Department of Labor, phone calls, whatever. Then I went to the food pantry. When I went to food pantry again, overly blessed. So many wonderful items that I needed and that I actually had on my grocery shopping list, but I didn't have any grocery shopping funds. So I picked those items up, put them in my bag. Actually, I also stopped by like a little library, like one of those little mini libraries. And just so you guys know, right now I'm reading a couple of different books. I finished reading Free Centoya. It's such a good book, you guys. But it's almost like premonition the way my life is going. So I read Free Centoya, and when I look at her life on her social media, I'm just like, oh, that's so beautiful. There were parts of the book that made me cry, like when she got out and, she had her family waiting for her. I would never have family waiting for me for anything. And then she had her husband waiting for her. Never wanted to get married, but all right, y'all. So I don't know if my volume is on or not, but I'm sorry. The sauna made my phone overheat, so I had to come out. But like I was saying, my heart's a little bit broken because, like I said, my heart goes out to all sexual assault victims. I've never had a serious case. I might have had somebody say something weird, but I never thought that would be any type of issue that I would ever have. But like I was saying before, what I find is that I don't even know where to start. It's kind of weird doing this out here. Um, so I guess I'll just share my experience, and it's all mixed up together. It's like everything is kind of like Final Destination coming to a point, to an apex, a climax, whatever you want to call it. So just touching on again some of the books that I was reading. Bill Clinton's life story. I finished reading Free Centoya. There's a book, Out of the Darkness or something like that by, I think it's Michelle Knight, one of the 3 girls that was kidnapped. And my life is so serendipitous. Everything happens kind of in flow and coincidentally. Everything kind of connects. It's kind of scary, but that's the way it happens. So when I came back from that office, I was talking about how there are a lot of predators in Valdosta. I've seen it. I haven't been directly involved in it. And I thought because, hey, I'm not, doing that. So that's not a concern for me. But what I find, like I said, is when you have a big bag, I always carry this on the back of the bike, but this heavy biking bag thing. And I usually have a side bag and some hiking boots on or whatever, mud boots, whatever. And, when people see you like that all the time, they see you as vulnerable because they think that, one, they see you walking 20 miles with all that stuff that, one, nobody cares, so that's an easy target. 2, you're easily identifiable. 3, someone being in a vehicle and you're walking and they're slowing down, they're kind of at an advantage. The first thing I'm usually pretty aware is I'll step back and I'll look at the license plate number so you can identify who this is that's circling around you or whatever. Fortunately for me, I've had a couple situations where there was a business that I went to before, and every time I would walk past, because it's in my path going to the gym all the time, there'd always be cars that would stop and pull into that business parking lot and wait for me. And so you're thinking, okay, they're just going to go take care of their business, but then they'll wait for me to cross like by the driveway and block me, so I'd have to go through. And I guess the lady that owns the place or manages the place is seeing this because she's watching a video camera from wherever, and I'm not a customer there anymore. But she's seeing this and she's like, she'll come out and say something. I haven't had a problem anymore because I think she saw me on camera stop. One of my concerns is I was scared that she might think that I'm actually inviting these people to come talk. I'm not, right? It's just that they see you vulnerable, this long stretch of street, you're by yourself. And, one of the things in Centoya's book, Free Centoya, that she talked about is how the guy that she killed that tried to assault her, everybody was saying, oh, he was just trying to help or whatever. No, because that's what these people say. They see you with the big bag. They're just trying, no, do not stop me. Do not speak to me. Do not blow your horn at me. None of that. It's very disrespectful. And on top of that, it sends a message to everyone else that this is what you are and I'm not. This is definitely like that. I think my Bluetooth went out. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't think my Bluetooth is even connected. All right, so hopefully you can hear me now. So again, talking about domestic violence, talking about sexual assault, talking about being a woman, talking about being a woman um, in a situation that appears vulnerable. Like me, I'm a very open woman. I like being free. I like doing my own thing. I love being by myself. I know I went to a restaurant a few months ago when I walked in, because like I said, the outhouse is only 5 miles. Even if people don't know you, they see you. It don't mean they like you, but they see you. And so as soon as I came in, and it wasn't in any rude way, the person that was greeting or hosting was just like, for one, and I was like, yes, and I was so proud. And I really am. I enjoy my life being at this age. It almost feels like it's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? I don't have, like Pinocchio song, I have no strings to tie me down. But I have to admit, every now and then I get the feeling like on City of Angels, they need to do a remake with me, but instead of like some professional doctor that's successful and have everything, to be a woman that just really loves God and loves nature and loves the outdoors. But every now and then she's just like, and then God has sent her angel. And sometimes I do feel like the presence of, the arms of an angel. I do feel God, something, I feel. And I think that would be such an awesome story. I would love to see, me in that role, or not me, but someone that is representative of someone like me. Just an odd little brown girl, woman, whatever, middle age, because the old age is important. Middle age, older woman, just, enjoying life, loving God, loving nature, loving the outdoors. But every now and then, like I said, it's just, what I'm saying, where it's just, wow, you need that human, je ne sais quoi, right? And, you can feel, sometimes you can feel the presence, almost like in Beyonce's song Closet All, when she felt like the angel was around her. It feels like this sometimes, it feels like I'm protected a lot. Sometimes God, I think, lets the veil come off so that I can see that there's some harm out there. And like I said, my life is so serendipitous, so many things happen. I'm going to tell you, like when I said when my car got stolen by that church, and it was so ironic because that night they were preaching on how, the demons in 12:7, I don't know, like something happens in all the, the worst places of the church. And the girl's name that was talking about it, her name was Lily, like Lilith. And she was the one, it was like she almost sent them after me, because I've never had problems up to that point that I can recall. If I ever had a problem, it's been so long, I don't remember. I think I may have been quote unquote assaulted once, but it wasn't really, because the type of thing that it was, it would have been embarrassing to report it. So I was like, nah. But just, I never had that happen until that time that I went to that church. Every time I go to a church, it's like something crazy happens. But I went to go, I think I dropped a shirt or somewhere, because I came from laundry to that place, to that church. And this guy, he walked past me. I just thought he was slow. And this is kind of like a usual suspects thing. I thought he was kind of slow or whatever. So, and I love street people because, freedom. So, I waved, and he waved at me. I waved back. And then he's like, oh, that's a female. But all of a sudden, his whole thing changed, and it scared me, because I'm like, why does it matter if I'm a female or not? He turned around and he followed me, for a long way. And he was like a sloth. He moved so slow so I could get away, right? And the thing about it is that somebody that was at the store that I went to that day, last time that I used that car, because my car was stolen by the church. But just so many coincidences. And then let me tell you what happened this time. Like I said, I wasn't planning on going to church, because that church, coincidentally, when I got my car stolen, there was a guy that was at one of the local places for social services. And, I was chatting it up with the people that was there. It didn't end so well. With him, yeah, but with everything that was going on there. But then always, it's like my life, something bad happens, something good happens, something bad happens, something good happens. It's like a constant fight between good and evil. It's like, if you've ever, and I always talk about this, if you ever drove from North Florida to South Florida, and you get to the point where like the waters from Jacksonville hit the waters from South Florida, and you can see like the battling of the waters, the different colors are so clear. And that's how my life is. It's like so much, like it's so, you can see it, it's clear, it's nothing, but it's so much that you can't even share it or explain it all. You just kind of got to sit back and take it all in. So um, the guy, I was at the gym that morning, and I was just like, well, I'm going to go see, because they told me that, they were open the next day. I didn't know if it was 10 a.m. to p.m., but I needed my car, so I was going to go get it. It was kind of cold. I didn't realize it because I had worked out. I was in the gym all night long, literally. And when I had flat ironed my hair, I was flat ironing my hair then. My hair was actually the hugest afro ever. Like, it wasn't even a curly afro. It was just big. But anyhow, but I'm okay with it. But so I washed it and whatever. Didn't wash it. I co-washed it. But so what ends up happening is that as I'm stomping in my flip-flops, and it's cold outside, I had on flip-flops. I don't know what I had on. Maybe a tank top and some tights, but it was too cold for that. But I didn't feel anything, so I was walking. And then I hear like somebody yell at me out of the truck. Like I said, that's a no-no for me. You don't do that to me. That's disrespectful. But, he rolled down the window to his face. He's like, you don't remember me from the such and such office, whatever. He's like, you need a ride? And I was like, let's go. I was like, I need to get to, this church. They sold my card, whatever, whatever. I don't know if they had service at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. tonight. They were telling me they didn't have service at all. They lied. So he was excited too, because he had this business thing he was doing. He was going to go get his new cargo, whatever thingy he was getting. He was a good person, right? And so, but then the places are open. He was going to try to wait with me. So he sat in the library parking lot, and he was telling me about the people that work there. Then he went to the parking lot. And I was just like, dude, I don't think they're going to be here because it's like 11 o'clock. So I don't want to take up your time. You go on. He's like, no, I don't want to leave you here. I'm like, no, you just go. And it looked bad because to anybody looking, it would look like he just picked up a girl off the street and dropped her. But that's not what happened. I just wasn't going to take up his time like that, right? So it did look bad. But he did share a story with me out of consolation that, there's a church like 2 doors down, right? And during the time when they were giving the PPP loans for the pandemic and whatever, he had donated $4,000 to that church to help with the uniforms and this, that, and the other, because he had kids too, right? And all he asked for was the pastor of that church to write him a receipt so that he could get, whatever tax credits or whatever with taxes, right? Not only did that pastor not write him a receipt, he didn't even, acknowledge that it was, because he kept waiting on it. He never got the receipt. So then the man that I was telling you about, he went and asked the church about it. He talked to the church secretary. She's like, oh, we never received a donation. He was like, I gave him $4,000. Then finally, after he talked to the rest of the pastor a little bit back and forth, he claimed $1,000, but never gave him a receipt for anything. But he gave him a full $4,000. So my dilemma was, after I came back from the food pantry, like I said, I was at this office for social services earlier that day. Some white woman wasn't talking to me. She was yelling at me about, hey, you left her a ride, and not even making eye contact, not looking up, but just, And so then, this older black guy walks by and says, hello, or whatever. And again, it's the burn test, and it's these old men. I don't know what the problem is. So I'm like, I didn't think nothing of it. But as I'm walking back, a few different things happened in between. Like I said, food security. So, I'm going to this place to apply for this, going to the food pantry, pick up stuff so I can have until I can get everything together. So in the process of all this happening, this truck goes by. And again, you want to think sweet old man, but it's not the case. So, he's like,
"Oh, you don't remember me from earlier? I spoke to you earlier. I wanted to know if you needed a ride." And I was like, "No, I don't need a ride. But if you have any food and resources, I'd be happy to take that." And then he was just like, "Oh, well, I'm going over to the store to get a scratch off ticket. If I come back, I'll see if you need a ride." I don't need a ride. So I don't know what it is about, like, it's always that the black, the whole black neighborhood. I gotta stay away from there. But he just and he came, and then so, I had my backpack on with my all my canned goods in it. I had my side bag with all my books in it. So, every now and then it was really hot, humid. Every now and then I would stop and take off the backpack and take off the side bag, and do my stretches and whatever, just to make sure, I don't hurt myself real bad because it's a lot of stuff. And I weighed it, it's like 50 pounds. It can be up to 50 pounds. Sometimes it may be more, I don't know, but the most I've weighed it is 50. So, you know, I keep walking. I'm just like, well, surely this old man, since he's going to buy this trash ticket or whatever on the way back, surely he's probably going to pick up something, some crackers, whatever. So, and then I see that I'm right across from this church, and I said, I'll stop right here. And I was considering, I don't think I'm going to go in there, because, like I said, if I go, I'm going to talk to that pastor about what happened. I'm probably going to get kicked out of the church and have all kinds of things said about me, right? So I'm saying the same clothes I have on today, dirty t-shirt, shorts, and actually swim trunks is what they are. So, the, they have a vacation Bible school going on. It starts at 6, right? And so I'm out there, and then as I'm standing there, this old man, and I think he went past twice, always old man, and then that's what I'm saying, y'all. It's the least the people that, from me, because I walk a lot and I see the type of people that come and do stuff like that. Old man with all these different, veteran things on, just, old. You know what I mean? Kind of like I'm almost old, but just old. And so, kept stopping asking if I needed a ride. I said no. And actually, at that time, right, first time I said no, I thought he was gone, right? Then I'm standing across the street from the church. A truck pulled up, so I'm just like, okay. So now the church people are starting to come, and with the kind of truck that it was, I knew it was a male, right? I don't know why, I just knew it was a male because of the type of truck. And I'm thinking, and with when I'm finding out about, like, Valdosta men, especially black men, if they feel like they're doing okay, it's about appearance, right? And so I'm thinking, they're they're gonna be feeling a certain type of way. I'm standing across from this church, and they're gonna rush in and be like, but no, that's not what happened. The guy, you can tell he has a little bit of a pause because he's wondering what's going on. They're having this vacation Bible school, and churches don't do this anymore. If you look indigent, if you don't look like you don't have anything going for yourself, they do not want you over there. But, he stops, and I think maybe part of him was scared because he don't know if I was probably somebody for the past stalking or what, because I'm standing right across from the church, right? So he says, excuse me, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, do you have any food? And he was like, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if you were okay. And I said, well, what's the purpose? I said, as a Christian, or as people that love other people, you have to be intentional. He was like, well, ma'am, if you let me finish, and he wasn't about to say all that, but he said, ma'am, if you let me finish, I was telling you, I was trying to tell you that we're having vacation Bible school or whatever, and they're going to have hot dogs at the end. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to go or not, but I will stand, I'm going to, cool off right here for a minute. If I see more people come in, I'm going to come in. And so then what I was doing kind of on the backdrop, and I know not to do this anymore, was, like I said, waiting for the person to come back, the older person that said they were going to get the beverage. I said, this is somebody's father. He said, no, that's not what happened at all. So if you are in Valdosta, any small town, don't misjudge. Always look at people's license plate. Do not let any people let any people know that there's a need for anything. People are not there to help you. But look at license plate, because that will definitely put them on alert, and they will know that, hey, I saw you. The bad thing about it, though, is that when you're around churches and stuff, even though churches are the most evil place, your awareness or guard is put down a little bit. Because what ends up happening is, as this man across the street is talking to me, this truck pulls up, and it's that old man again, that old veteran guy, and the amount of disrespect, I'm going to say this, is they know that the church don't care anything about you. That's why they're bold enough to do that. And if anything, they know that you probably know that too. So they're expecting that you're going to get into their, vehicle or whatever. But I'm not. And, I just say food. And then I'm talking to this guy across the way. And the other thing too, so, finally he just laughed at me and just and went on. But the other thing I want to mention too was that as I was on my way there, again, my backpack, whatever, coming back from food pantry, I walked down the street and I was thinking, oh, I could really use a can opener. So I could open one of these canned goods and, have dinner on my way home, right? So, I walked past this guy on a porch, shirt on. But of course, when you look in the gym or you have a lot of bags, they're going to kind of ignore you. Coincidentally, I was walking out of that same little loop coming back from doing laundry and going to a church before, and this car stopped and they were asking, I was like, why are they following me like this? And then, I was like, they were like, need a ride? I was like, no. They're like, are you coming from Chris's house? And I'm like, I don't even know who Chris is. I don't go to anybody. Who is this person? So there's something weird going on. I don't ever want to be down in that area of Valdosta again. It's awful. Like, it's terrible. So I'm going to keep on telling the rest of the story. And like I said, God protects me and makes it so that I don't, where I don't think he wants me going back to church. So what ends up happening is that, I end up going into this church. I wash my hands so I know I'm all sweaty, funky, whatever. And, I set down a little plastic bag and whatever, start working on stuff. And, the guy, he comes out, he speaks, the one that was standing across the way, and he brought his wife. And that was the best gift ever. Usually I'm always thinking the wife, like, oh, your husband is such a gift. But no, this girl is a gift. And let me tell you something. Her name, and what's so ironic, is that she's like the mirror of, there's a church another 2 doors down, of another girl that's there, that's actually from Virginia. This girl says she's from Macon. But her name was Chastity, right? And so I just thought that was so beautiful. I thought that was so soothing. She was so sweet. And she was just like, oh, you're so, and I think she was just saying this now, or I don't know if she was serious now, but she's really, really pure and real sweethearted. She was just like, you're so attractive, you're so attractive. And I'm just like, is she joking? And so I don't know if she was saying this because I looked in the gym and that was her way of trying to be nice or whatever. And she was like, really, really attractive. She was like, I hope. And like I said, I hope she was joking. And she was like, I hope. And I think she was like alluding to her husband or whatever. I'm just like, girl, please. I'm like, is she serious? It can't be, And it was just the weirdest thing. I didn't think nothing of it. But in a way, I felt she was serious. So I kept coming up with little stuff like I was telling her how I was like, I don't even understand how somebody could say something like that. I was telling her how I was in Walmart and some woman yelled out to me. She's like, hey, Maria, and I figured it had to be somebody from church because I don't know anybody from anywhere else, right? But her husband, her man, or her fiance, or whoever was with her was mad at her for speaking to me. You see in his face that he was upset that I bought my presents. I didn't bring my presents over there because I wasn't paying attention. And I probably looked like I was mad that she spoke to me, but I wasn't. I was just focused. And I had recently gotten some stuff stolen from me. So, yeah. So I was telling her how, no, it's not like that at all. One, I'm too visible. Two, I don't look like I have anything going on for myself. And so they don't like that. Men are like women. I said, no, you don't have to worry about that, right? And I was like, I don't know if you're joking or not. And I think, just like I was when I was, had a significant other, she probably told him. She was probably like, yeah, did you talk to that girl? Because such and such and such, which is real stupid, And I'm going to say this. There are good guys out there. And if you have a good guy that is helpful to people, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? In my journeys, and like I said, I'm not attracted by any means to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something to worry about. And two, be thankful that you have, because that's a real guy. That's a real dude. A real dude is going to want to help a female no matter what, And being that, he has his woman by his side, that's even more powerful, I just, there's been so many. I remember it was one church where there was a pastor, he's an older pastor, Happy Meal I remarked a long time ago, part of social anxiety. I don't have social anxiety. I don't have social anxiety. At this age, I think that I just want to be left alone. I think the greatest gift that people can give you is just to leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? Even, I mean, I don't even mind like if people are rude and nasty. I've seen it. I felt the energy, but I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? As long as you just leave me alone, I don't care. You know, getting to, um, getting to the part of the story. Yeah, I mean, I'm just too old. I don't have time. Somebody asked me yesterday, and I was telling about my whole day. What was the day before? I don't know what day it was now because it's been a couple days. It was on the 12th, whatever day the 12th is. I know we about to overlap days, but somebody was telling me. He asked me, I don't know how this question came up because he was talking about a lot of stuff. And he asked me, how did I feel about gay people? I said, it's not my business. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's not my business. It has nothing to do with me. I don't worry about what other people are doing. I don't care about what other people are thinking. I don't care. I don't care. As long as I'm not doing anything to disrupt your atmosphere or F you up intentionally, I'm good. Now, if you're just having a bad day and I'm really feeling myself and that makes you uncomfortable, you know, you know, I need all the love I can get. So if I'm loving on myself and me loving me makes you uncomfortable, I'm not gonna change that because I need all the love I can get. So what happened with you? I'm locked in this stream, decompressing from work. I know I had to stop it to make sure you're on top of this. I'm okay. I got sexually assaulted yesterday. That's the first. For me, to be 50 years old and to have that be the first time that not in this way. So I was getting to that part of the story where I met this lady named Chastity. She was so sweet. So ironically, in a couple of days ago, I was talking about how, hey, this is such a great life. Don't nobody bother me. You know what I'm saying? And and it's great. And I was talking about how the movie City of Angels, every now and then I get that little thing where I'm just like, God, send an angel, a real angel, right? But then, so as I was walking back after having a chat with this friend that I was telling you about in the park on my way home, I took a little break, and I should have caught the cues then, and then it was also almost like Final Destination because like everything, this girl keeps telling me that I'm attractive, I'm attractive, I'm attractive. I'm like, why are you telling me that? And I'm just like, maybe she thinks that I need to feel that way. So she's trying to boost and encourage me because she says probably like it must be miserable being that old but no, I'm good, really. Like I said, as long as you leave me alone, I'm fine. Not her, but just as long as people leave me alone, do whatever they do, think whatever they think, just leave me alone, I'm all right. But so, that was the one thing because I kind of prided myself that don't nobody bother me. I can walk up and down the street all day and all night if I want to. I walked here with a huge afro and shorts. And I got some weird looks, probably because they're like, oh, she's feeling herself. She look like that. Yes, I am. I'm feeling myself. I love me some me. And actually, as I'm walking down the street, that's what I'm singing in my head. I changed the words to me. I'm like, I love me some me. And so, but anyhow, as I'm leaving, this buddy of mine, and I'm walking, every now and then, and bicycles scare me. I hear a bicycle behind me. I turn around and I look. There's some guy, and I turn back around. I'm just being aware of my surroundings. And he says to me, oh, you're the lady that gave me the word the other day, right? And when he says the word, it can't have been nothing but me saying, okay, move along now. I love you with the love of Christ, because that's what I do. Because I want you to go on. I want you to feel love, but I want you to go on about your business. Stay back in here for you. You know what I'm saying? So, he says, I said, yeah, and I did recognize him. I was like, yeah, it was on Gordon Street. I don't remember. I was probably coming back from the community center or something, right? And I was like, yeah. And then he was just like, well, he kept circling around me. And I'm just trying to get rid of him. So I'm just like, well, what are you doing out here so late? And he's just like, oh, he's coming back from his auntie's house or something like that, right? And I'm like, oh, and then my stupid self, I don't realize how dumb I am because now I'm giving all these clues away. And just because somebody's younger, it doesn't mean that they're sweet and innocent and whatever. So, me, silly self, being a female, yeah, I did. I got assaulted, and I'm getting to that point. So me being a silly female and being a child, even though I'm the age I am, and at heart I'm a child, you know. So I'm just like, I'm like, oh, you're so lucky you got family. Dun dun dun. Shouldn't have done that because that set off the cue to him. One, that I don't have nobody, and then two, it also set off the cue because I'm talking about God or whatever, and I love you with the love of Christ, trying to get rid of him. That hey, that the VJ makes me okay because there's no, you know, because she's all in to God and stuff, right? So I didn't think that that's what the cues were that I was sending by saying these just little things, just little conversation, right? So, and that's something I was telling myself a couple days ago. You can't have conversations with people you don't know like that on the street, you know, because they're taking every little piece of information and they're using it the wrong way. So, you know, I keep walking and then I'm just like, well, he was like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, and I told him I had some business I had to handle down here. He was just circling around me and talking. I said I had some business I had to handle down here. And this is where, you know, kudos to, I guess, the stuck up females that be like, are we talking to you? He ain't talking. But no, because I'm not looking, you know, I'm just talking. So, you know, I told him I went to take care of some business. I went to a food pantry. I went to a Bible study. And he was like, it's late for a Bible study. I said, I got out at 8. It took me about an hour to walk. And, you know, I chopped it up with a buddy of mine that I ran into. And he was like, well, where are you going now? And I made up a lie. I was going home. But I was like, and it's not really a lie. Because I said, I'm going to go spend some time with a friend. My friend is God. Me and God. Me and God. God and I were going to go spend some time. So I said, I'm going to go spend some time with a friend. He was like, oh, okay. And he was like, well, you know, I wish you were going home with me. And I just kind of laughed it off because I'm like, whatever, you know. So I said, well, have a good night. I love you with the love of Christ. And so he says, oh, you too. You know, he keeps circling around. I'm thinking nothing about it. I'm thinking he's going on about his business because I'm not trying to have this conversation. So I walk through my normal paths where I'm walking. And I don't know, he may have been watching me for a while. And as I'm walking, there's a dead end street. But if you're walking, you can get to that dead end street that I walk up. And I noticed when I first started walking there, the lady that lives at that in-house, attractive white woman, I think she's single, you know, she would be so bubbly. And I was thinking to myself, when I lived by myself like that, I would be suspicious. I wouldn't be speaking to just random people walking up. She's like, hey, how you doing? And I was just like, oh, hey. And then something must have happened because a couple of times after that, she had her huge Doberman Pinscher out, like the leash long enough just to reach the edge of the street, you know. So something must have happened. Now, you know, that street has really nice houses on it, but like I said, the whole place is ghetto. Like where I used to live, on the outside it looked all right, but people get murdered all the time, whatever. So as I walk there, though, I look to my left. No, as I'm approaching that street, remember he's on a bicycle, so he's faster. I see him. He was trying to make it so I wouldn't see him, but he rode past, and I was like, oh, that dude is here. He's following me. This is not the first time I've been followed, right? And I've had people blatantly tell me, oh, I've been following you for so long. Do you know how long I'm just like, what? So I looked to the left, and the bicycle with the whatever food stuff he had, you know, was on the, it's like he threw it over there, ditched it over there. And I'm just like, oh, Lord. And I was like, well, you know, let me stop tripping. Maybe he's going to visit this lady at the house. Maybe that's a boarding house or something, and maybe he lives there. Or maybe he lives in the woods. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't need to be tripping like that. I'm tripping. So, you know, as I continue to walk, I see a guy. There's a huge moving van, right? I see a guy come out from the moving van. But I'm like, this guy's a little bit too skinny to be him. But I'm like, I'm not really paying attention. I'm halfway blind anyway. It's probably that dude. He's going to go see his friend. Maybe he don't want him or her or whoever he's going to see to know he's on a bicycle. So I keep walking. But then as I'm walking, after you get past the first set of houses, there's a street, right? At the end of the street, it's pretty dark. There's no houses there. It's just open, dark space, not lit at all, nothing. So when I look to the right, I see the guy because he has on loud flash. I hate that loud flashing clothing, right? And I see him like walk. He's looking at me, but he's like halfway down the street. But he walks. I need water. He walks. Give me just. So he walks. He's looking at me, and he's thinking I can't see him because it's dark. But bro, you got on some flashy clothes. I can see you a mile away. So he walks to where these two trees are, and I'm expecting that maybe he's going to go see a friend, you know. And so maybe he's going to continue walking and go to the house, or at least pretend to go to somebody's house. He doesn't. He stops behind the trees. I'm like, oh Lord, you know, he's watching me, you know. And then part of me, me, I'm not scared of nothing. So part of me was like, let me go walk and see what he's doing. And then I'm just like, nah, because that's asking for it, because it's a dark street. He's hiding behind a tree for a reason. So I'm like, okay, let me just continue walking. Maybe he had to take a pee or something, none of my business. So I'm walking, and next, he comes out and he's coming towards me. As I look back, he has his pants unbuckled. And I'm just like, oh no. And he's standing there like children of the corn. I'm like, oh heck no. So I start walking faster. As I start walking faster, he comes like diagonally towards me faster with his pants unbuckled. I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, stop, don't come any closer, don't come any closer. He keeps coming towards me. So he starts coming faster, right? And I'm just like, I need to scream or something. So I'm just like, help, help. And so then when I sat there, he says, why are you screaming? Why are you screaming? And then he looks both ways and takes off running. I've never had that happen to me. And I really think that would have been the end. That would have been the end. I love everything that I got. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like people. I don't like folks being in my presence that I don't like in my presence. And that's the other thing. I got fortunate, and what it scares me is that, like I said, my life is so serendipitous. When I was walking down that street in the daytime, like around 9 or 10 in the morning, I noticed there was this dog that looked like the Bud Light dog, and he was on a leash, but there was a cute little puppy. And one time I walked past, the little puppy was all under my legs. He wouldn't let me walk, and I was waiting for him to come because, creatures are my only friends. But he didn't come. I don't know what was wrong with him. So, but it's just so happened on my way back. It just so happened that on my way back, the same thing. When I screamed, I'm just like, okay. So he probably was like, maybe whoever she was seeing was on the street, and that's why he took off running. But there was white people that lived there, very nice. And the lady, her daughter was sexually assaulted, and she was in high school. I'm just like, why are people messing with me? I'm 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. It's just an easy target. They see somebody with a big bag. It's easy. Easy target. That's what it is. And the guy, that little chatty up thing he was doing, he was sizing me up. Wanted to see how friendly, and just like that man that was in that big truck, he saw how I interacted with that lady, even though she was rude to me. So that says that I'm a pushover, I'm a too nice of a person, so it'll be easy to, try to manipulate. You know what I'm saying? That I would be open to conversation. Same thing with this guy, what that guy did. He's riding on a bicycle, and he was saying, okay, so at first he didn't know if I was going to be receptive, so he put in, oh, do you remember me? You gave me the word. So when he says the word, he's testing me, because if I'm somebody that's loved God and Christian or whatever, then I'm going to be really nice and sweet to him, And so then the second thing is, and this is my stupidity, when he says, oh, I'm coming from, whatever family member's house. I'm like, oh, you're so lucky you have family. Thinking, that people love each other. They're going to be like, oh, it's okay, family, whatever. But nah, what that told him is that I'm here all alone. That's what it told him. So yeah, but you talk about protecting yourself, and if you don't, so yeah, and that's the thing though. And I hate to have a situation being the type of woman that I am. I don't want to be in somebody's courtroom. Just like I said, I just finished reading Free Centoya. She blew the back of the man's head out. Then I think about that lady, Eileen Wuornos. I stand for her 1,000,000,000%, because I'm not thinking about no males walking down the street. I'm not thinking about you. I'm not thinking about anybody. I prefer if you don't speak to me at all. I'm okay with it. Rock with it. And so for people to be stopping repeatedly, it's so disrespectful, like in cars and whatever. It's disrespectful, and they're testing you. And these are people's, probably somebody's husband, fiance, boyfriend. This is weird. It's weird. I don't like it. So, like I said, I hate to be someone that's sitting in somebody's courtroom because you can't control whatever you got going on. I hate to be that. And for women, I'm going to say this. That woman that lives at that end of the street, I noticed that today, or yesterday, whatever day it was, she didn't have that dog out on the leash there. Probably, yeah, your life is way worth it. Hallelujah to that, I'm going to tell you. But, and that's why I say my VJ is worth it, because that's what that's what I was proud of myself on. I shouldn't think about stuff like that, but being 50 years old, I love, you know, I love me some me, and I pride myself. I'm like the best kept secret. You know what I mean? I, I just, I don't even know how to say it, but yeah, it's worth it. But the thing is that you say your life is worth it, but if you get put into that situation where you do that or have to do that, your life is over because now you got to be in court all the time because this person didn't know how to control themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's plenty of desperate females out there that are willing to just give it all away. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people that, are wishing. I remember there was a video where this girl, it was a young girl, probably like 20. I need such and such. And I was just like, what? But the thing is, I think some people get the thrill out of the fact, and it's not about sexuality. It's not about that. It's not about somebody being attractive. It's about exerting power and control and dominance over a female. Some people are offended that you are a female, that you're just enjoying yourself and you really don't care what you look like. You don't care about any of that, or that, they dare to try to speak to you and you're not falling all over them because they're expecting that, hey, this is an old female. She's probably whatever. But no, I'm not. I'm not any of that. So, but, like you said, your life is far worth it. But to me, anytime you have to deal with anything through the legal system, it ends your life, Um, I don't want to spend my life doing that, One thing I want to share, this girl that I admired, and I used to live beside her, she lived beside me. And, like I said, there's always some kind of chatter going on about me or whatever. I'm not even important, but it's, kind of I don't know what it is. It's like, it's always something, you know. But I've gotten used to it. I hear like little things being said, and I'm just like, hey, I'm going home. I don't care, But this girl, one day, I walked down the street, and I was on here. I talked about it on here, and I used to have all my tables and stuff set outside. So when I get back from my long walk, usually I take off my bags and I sit on the ground, sit at the table a little bit, blog, listen to the music, whatever, right? And so when I walked past, I heard this guy say something smart. I didn't think nothing about it. Somebody's always saying something smart. I don't, what am I going to do? Absolutely nothing. It ain't none of my business. So, but there was a girl that lives beside me. She was standing across the street. I don't know what the guy said, but she said, "What you say?" And then he was just like, "Oh, I said such and such." And she was like, hold on, wait a minute, I'll be right back." The girl went in the house, came back out. She came out with a on the tip, and she just stood there. She was like, "What you say? Say it again." And he didn't say anything. No, she was like, no, just say it again. Say it again. And I turned around at first, but I turned back around because I saw it, and I was like, oh heck no, this girl is not playing. She could only have been like 20 years old. And I have to say, I do not condone violence, but I give my props to her because she can handle her business. This girl is shorter than me. She's probably like 5'2", right? Dark skin, young girl, right? Young, like I said, probably 20, right? The girl is gangster, straight up gangster. But even though, as much as I admired that, she had to have gone through some things. And those things that she had to go through to make her that type of female that young, I don't know which is the lesser two evils. Being this old and not having enough experience to make me that much on the defensive or make me that packed, or being young and having such horrible experiences that you already know how to use it, and that man, that dude, he had to be, I don't know how old he was, but he was big. He had to be like 24, 25. But he was tall. He was feeling himself. He was like maybe 6'3", 6'4". And the bad thing that gets me about it, it's like a lot of these dudes have mentality. Because why are you even talking about females or whatever? I don't know what he said. I don't even know if what he really said was towards her. He said something about me to piss her off. I don't know what happened. But, she went over there to handle business. She was standing there. She was not joking, wasn't no smiling. And had I not turned around, I would not have even known she had that. You know what I'm saying? But I turned myself around real quick because I don't want no problems. I turned myself right back around. This dude, at first he was starting to joke about it. She's like, no, go ahead and say it. And she just stood there, just as calm. And he didn't have nothing to say. His homeboy was beside him that he was kikiing and ha-ha with. He ain't had nothing to say either because they knew she was not playing. She was not playing. She was not laughing. She was not grinning. She was not being loud. Oh, I'm going to do this and do that. No, she wanted him to say something so she could end it and go back in the house and act like nothing happened. The girl was off the chain. You know, I just, I'm speechless. I wouldn't even, yeah. He says you won't end up like that. In some cases, you don't even have to say. But let me tell you something. That lady, Frankie, that Eileen Warnos lady that said that she was a prostitute and all this, that, and the other, and she murdered all these men. She fought. I felt so bad for her. I felt so bad for her. I don't know if you saw the movie. I felt bad for her. This girl Centoya, the world is not perfect. That girl Centoya from the Free Centoya thing, she was 16, and just like I tell you, dudes just be trying to ride past. Or do you want something? You want to ride? No, I don't want to ride. Or they'll see that you walk in a direction and they'll make it so that you have to walk across their path so they can catch you walking past. Mm-mm. No, and what happened was that she was hungry, and this white dude that happened to be a Sunday school teacher at a local church, he says, "Oh, and he's like I think 40 something, or no, maybe I don't know, maybe not that old, maybe he was 24, she was 16, I don't remember, but he was like, do you want some?" And she said, "Okay," and he took her to Sonic's, and then she was like, oh, she was relieved, she was like, oh, nice, somebody actually cares, and then. That dun, dun, dun. I don't know exactly what he said, but it was equivalent of this. Let me share an experience with you. So when the hurricanes and stuff came, there was a lot of different companies. Excuse me, I got to drink some water. There was a lot of different companies that was giving out free food and things like that. And we all like free, so I was right there, free, right? So, I was busy doing something, and so I didn't get out until late that day. So I was walking around. I think I was going to Family Dollar because I wanted a snack. Oh, the electricity was out, so we couldn't really have any real food, right? So electricity was out. So I was going on my way to see Family Dollar was still open. And for me, and I understand now, all street people are not good people. I was looking for whoever looked like street people, because if they looked like street people, I was going to ask them, hey, do you know who was distributing food and things like that? So I saw this guy. And there was like this big house, and there was a girl that looked kind of, you know what I mean? So, I asked him, I said, hey, do you know if anybody that's distributing food, And he was just like, well, you can ask this guy right here, right? There was a guy that was standing on the porch. Nice looking man, probably young. Like I said, everybody's young these days because I'm oldest, but probably between like 24 and 30. Nicely dressed, And when I say nice, not a suit, but like maybe a nice polo shirt, some nice slacks, whatever. There was two church ladies on the porch. They were talking church. He was standing there with them. So I'm thinking this is a stand-up dude. I was like, hey, how you doing? I said, my name is such and such. I was asking, folks if they knew anybody that's food, whatever. And, somebody mentioned you. He was like, oh, yeah, who told you that? And I said, oh, this guy right here. He was like, yeah, I got you, whatever. And so I was like, well, do you have a food truck or something? Like, why would you do that, And he was just like, oh, I do that sometimes, whatever. So he says, come on. And I'm thinking, I'm going to stand on this porch with these two church women and wait with them. So he's like, come on. And so I walk across the street, don't think nothing about it. And when I say across the street, it's not a big street. It's like literally, like I'm sitting on this machine. There's machines over there. It's like 5 feet across the street, okay? 5 feet, literally. I could do a cartwheel and be across the street. So, I'm standing on the sidewalk going towards the door. And I stop right there, because I'm thinking, I stop right there. And then he's like, oh, no, come on in. And I was like, no, I'm not coming in. And then, he's trying to get me to come in. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming in. So then he says, well, if I feed you, what are you going to feed me? And I'm like, what? So I'm standing there and I'm looking. And then it's just like that moment where everything just stood still. And the guy that told me, I guess he was watching me. I didn't know that he was watching me. He came over and it was something weird going on because I was just like, and he was like, what's wrong? You know, and he was like, what he say to you? What he say to you? Right? And I didn't know what to say because I know it would sound ridiculous, like, you know. And then the guy, when he saw that the guy was actually concerned and asked about it, he was like, oh, I was just joking. What? So then the other guy goes in and he gets whatever. But the feeling that I got was that this dude, and the thing that got me was he was right across the street from those church ladies. Didn't care. Church ladies probably heard him. Didn't care. Again, they're minding their business, you know. But what's the point of going to church if you don't hold church values, which is that we're supposed to love each other, you know? But anyhow, the feeling that I got, it's like I said, the dude that I spoke to seemed like a street person. The feeling that I got was that this dude that seemed like a stand-up person or whatever, that maybe that's what he does for favors or something from people that he see to be street people. You know, but the only reason that I asked, because, you know, the hurricane, there was all types of good food trucks giving away free stuff, but that's the silly me that I was, right? So the feeling that I got was that, you know, I didn't feed him, you know, but I'm thinking that this dude fed him, if you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, in my place. And it was just weird. And I asked him about it the next time I saw him, and he really didn't answer my question, you know. It was weird. So Valdosta is really strange. And like I said, in that community, that poor black community, something's really wrong. And the churches too. It's like, oh, and another thing, I just saw my first snake the other day. Um, Valdosta has snakes in the summer, just a snake in the grass, snakes in the summer. And what happened was I was hanging out in the woods and I was writing in my journal, just enjoying life, enjoying the trees, the dragonflies, the butterflies, you know, the otters, whatever. I was enjoying myself. I actually really like this lifestyle. I don't know how much longer, you know, before things get weird and I have to change it, but I enjoy this life. So as I'm sitting there writing and journaling, enjoying the atmosphere, I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, I'm imagining things, and I'm like, ah, it's a snake, and you know, and I stand still because I'm just like, I don't want to move and make it hit me. I don't know where it went, whatever, and I don't have my boots on. I just have on flip flops. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm out here by myself and something hit me, that's the end. Not that anybody cares anyway. It'll probably be the end if I wasn't by myself because people don't care about folks anymore unless you know you got some type of influence, which I do not. But so they'd be mad that they had to stop and even hear me scream. So you know, my notebook fell over, the little portable table I had fell over, and I was scared to pick up my notebook. But then eventually I was just like, okay, I got to pick it up at some point because I was thinking the snake is under there. When I picked it up, the snake was like over to the side somewhere, but it was so weird to me. Let me tell you what happened. The snake slithered off and looked behind me. It looked at me like a female would, like, you know, girl, you know you in my territory. I'll let you live this time. And it just slithered away. The snake was like 2 to 3 feet long, you guys. And it was about an inch around. So yeah, but I'm not scared of them. I think they're rat snakes. And like if you have gardens or vegetables like that, I guess, you know, they may have field mice and things like that, and that's what they eat. But they won't bother you if you don't bother them, you know. And I haven't seen that thing come back, and I'm glad I haven't. So that's been good. Other wildlife I've seen lots of frogs, but that's the norm. Even when I wasn't hanging out in the woods, I would see frogs all the time. But it's weird to me that they would just kind of perch up where I am and just stare at me just like that. But that's about it. That's it, my exciting life. But the thing, like I said, that I felt so ironic about it, like I've never had an assault attempt like that on me. And like I said, that would have been it. And all I could think about was my poor beach. That's all I could think about. But I made it through, and I made it through the kindness of a local Caucasian family. And like I talked about the church, everything's connected. You know, the girl that I met, her name was Chastity, and somebody tried to take my chastity because I'm pretty much a virgin at this point. But then on top of that as well, she was talking about how, you know, she thought that I was attractive and that she was worried that her husband, I was like, girl, please. No. But the thing about it, and that was my next point, is that there are good guys out there. If you have a good guy and he's the type of person that helps people, you're golden. you're golden, because that means that he truly has a love, appreciation, and respect for him. Now you might have some women out there that are unsavory, or maybe there might be somebody who's attracted to you that ain't me, right? And I think that's great, and it should be promoted. This woman that I was talking about that kind of saved my life, she kind of lent me her husband because what happened was, she called, she called her husband to take me home, you know. And he did. And at first I was scared because I was like, I just told you I got to stop today. You're going to put me in the car with this man. But I just need to get out of that dude's vicinity. So am I interested in reptiles? No, I am not. But I love nature and wildlife. So whatever creature is around me, I typically am not scared. I've been with spiders, like literally living with spiders, ants, lizards. In the wintertime, walking sticks. They're like these long things. They look like actual sticks with little legs on it, and they're like all over the place. But they were only like in the winter when it got really cold. I saw them. But now it's nothing really, just the ants. The ants get on my nerves, and mosquitoes. I got bites. Probably look like I do drugs or something, but it's just mosquito bites. It's more stand-up guys. Yeah, there's really good guys out there, and I hate to be put in a situation because for me, when you don't have kids or whatever, you want to look at every young person, even though they're grown. You just want to be like, oh, that's a baby. But no, they're not. Some of them are really on some other thing. And what scared me, like I said, with this dude, it made me think the worst. I remember like hearing stories about how some teenager raped his mother. I'm like, what the heck? It made me think about that, and it made me kind of put me on alarm. Like when I'm walking on the street, and I'm happy like when somebody walk past and speaks to me. I like it when you say hello. But if you saying hello opens up a conversation that I think is a sweet, innocent conversation, and you trying to take it somewhere else, that's kind of scary. Speaking of which, I don't know if I'm throwing off some vibes, but I've been getting a lot of that lately. So I was walking back one day, and there was this lady. She's coming, hey, mommy. And there was a lady that was coming up, and I didn't know what she was saying. She was yelling something at me, right? She was just like, hey, such and such and such and such, and she was very top heavy, and she was doing something with her chest, and I was just thinking maybe she was trying to let me know that, because I'm hot, I'm soggy, maybe something slipped out. I don't know, I don't have much, but maybe it did. And women, we help each other out sometimes. Sometimes good women, we help each other out. So, I saw her do that, so I did that too. And then she kept talking. I was like, what you say? And there was a guy behind her, a little dark-skinned guy. He was so embarrassed, he just held his head there. I didn't know what was going on. And she was just like, will you be my wife? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I just held up the deuces because I'm like, no. And I'm just like, what in the world? So I don't know what it is. I don't know if she was on something, but no. Not today. Not today, not evermore. But it was weird. And I felt so bad for the little guy. I don't know if that was her friend, if that was a family member, but he was so embarrassed. Poor thing. Yeah, but that's all. I just had to get all of that out of my system because that was scary. I never had that happen to me before. So you seem to try so many. That's what the girl was telling. She kept telling me. She was just like, and again, like I said, I don't know if she was serious, but I think her husband probably got mad at her because that wasn't the intention at all, So he probably got mad at her. I don't know what the deal was, and she was really sweet. I really liked her a lot. Very sweet. And with me, I could be my own worst enemy. I down talk myself so bad. She wasn't even looking at me like that. Then she started looking at my feet because I was mentioning all of my flaws, flaws and all. But I just wanted to share that because I needed to share it somewhere because I've never had that happen to me. And it's scary. Maybe God is trying to get me because of my pride and vanity, not in a way that pride and vain about everybody else, but pride because I have pride of myself that, hey, I'm almost 50. I have all my original parts, except I'm missing a tooth. Just little things, but everything is functioning. Except my eyes, just little things. I'm proud of that, And though it may not be something that's cherished by other people, I love it. I think it's just the most, I like the fact that I could have a huge afro. I like the fact that I could be Afro curly baby. I like the fact that I like all of the versatility that I am, and I love it. I love it. And like I said, just to be able to have this many years behind me, I think is beautiful. And we all have like little battle scars. I have little things in my heart and my mind and whatever, but life is good. And I'm so proud of it. And I think God was trying to humble me a little bit and be like, hey, you know, you're thankful for this. And sometimes, like I said, I thought about the movie City of Angels, and sometimes I feel that way, like, you know, I need an angel. And God is just like, you got to be happy where you are. And I don't know. I think He was just trying to humble me and make me be aware that there are people that have been sexually assaulted and abused, and you know, like I said, I take a lot of things for granted. And I know that I'm blessed because the fact that I'm still living and walking around here by myself doing what I do, when I do it, how I do it, there's a lot of people that haven't made it. There have been times when I felt like I had close calls, but for whatever reason, people didn't really, I felt the energy was kind of off, but no, so God is just letting me know, I think, that He do there. Just like when I had, like I talked about how much I love homeless people and street people, and I never thought but they still, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think they did, because I've seen people that didn't appear to be injured just stealing from homeless people, but homeless people do too. But the thing is, you know, God is working with me on a lot of stuff. He's revealing a lot to me. You can't trust everything you see. There are no absolutes, but through it all, I still enjoy life and life. You know. And I'm thankful for the things that He's showing me. Sometimes things get a little tight, and I need a little bit of wiggle room. And I think, with that situation with my car being stolen, God was punishing me on that, because right before that happened, I was thinking that these dudes that was in this laundromat that I was trying to wash clothes, it was, God set me straight. That's all it is. I thought you always been like, no. Nah, I'm a lot older than that, but it's okay. But I'm gonna go. I just needed to get that off my chest and put it out there, because I needed the universe to know that I had this new experience. You know how you have a baby book and you're like the baby's first step? That's the first time I've been insulted like that, in that, or attempted to, where I thought that, hey, I'm gonna be a changed person forever. Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. Because, I don't know, I might sit on the bike a little bit longer, listen to something, I might go in the sauna, I might do a workout, I don't know. I haven't been consistent, but I did one workout like the day before yesterday or something like that. And it was pretty good, but I ended up leaving. I think my energy was a little off, but I'm glad that I got like maybe 6-hour workout that day. A real workout, yeah. Well, because I don't really feel like talking, and I'm in a public place, so even though I feel like I'm in private, I'm not. So I don't want to just be here talking about everything. But I do appreciate you, and I'm scared to say it. I love you with the love of Christ, because I don't know how that's gonna be taken, but ain't nothing you can do. Well, I'm not gonna say that because I don't know. I used to get on here and I'd be scared sometimes, because then I'd have people say, I'm in Val lawsuit too, and I'm like, what? You are, and I appreciate you. I do. I can tell you, I think you're okay. I don't think you're gonna try to hurt me, but I love you with the love of Christ. Anyways, I'm out of here. Goodbye. Good night. Thank you, by the way. Thanks.